Well, my name is Ole Petersen, and I'm the headmaster of the Academy for Free Teacher Training for the free schools in Denmark, and we're the only academy who are in a free academy, understood in that way that our government have no demands on our syllabus. We are making our own education, and we are valuing what should be have more time or less time in the education, that we are valuing this ourselves. We have, of course, we're looking at the public teacher education and looking at what's going on there, with development do they make, and how do they describe their topics and their specialists areas and so. And we're looking at this, and we're inspired of this, but we make our own ways, and we also make our own demands on what will have less or more time. For example, the pedagogical stuff in the pedagogical, didactic and psychology part of the teacher training. For this we use almost a full study year in our education, because we find it very important that our students know something about brains, how children learns, and they know something about how to act in different learning environments and situations, and how to establish an environment where you want to work in, and also they must know something about how to develop a school as a whole, not only their own education, but also the school as a whole thing. So we are using a lot of time in our education on this didactic, psychology and pedagogical stuff as a topic alone, but it's also a part of the way that our students are studying their specialist areas for themselves. In our school, you cannot come and be a part of our school directly from the upper secondary. We demand that you have been at least 1 year outside the school system and done something else, and it means that you must be above the age of 20 before you can start in our school. And that means that the most of the students who starts are 22, 24, maybe 26 years, and some are older, but average I think it's 23 or 24 years old when they start. And our education is 5 years long, and in the first 2 years you are on the academy and studying, and you have 3 weeks of practice every year, and in the third year you have a full working practice in a school where you are employed as a teacher, and you are supervised from one of our teachers from the academy, and you have a tutor in the school where you start as a new teacher. And when you have done this work, you will be allowed to come home to the academy, and you have 2 years to fulfill your education. And now you have experience on your own body, in your own mind, what's good, what's bad, what's difficult, what's easy to be a teacher. And that means that the education in the last 2 years is a very high level and very, very interesting education. And we fulfill our study with the last half year. We have a half year with a special topic where the students are dividing into groups and working on a pedagogical specialist work for half a year. They choose it themselves and have a supervisor from the teacher, from one of our teachers, and then they have to really go in the deep, as the last thing they do, to go depth into what they find very most interesting in the teacher education. And they have to connect to people from outside, find external evaluator who professional knows a lot of what they are working on, and they have to write about it in the teacher newspapers or what you call it, magazines, teacher magazines, and they have to educate the other students for 1 week in their specialist topics. Then in 1 week, all the specialist groups offers their works to the other students, and then they elect which group they will be in for one work, and work together with the students there. And this is how we fulfill our education there. And then you go out and try to be employed in the free schools. In Denmark we have a system that it's the school and the headmaster and the board of the single school who employs you, not a state or region where they will place you somewhere in different schools, but you as a person is employed from the headmaster and the board in this particular school and working there as long as you want to work together. So they will go out and find their work afterwards. We have no examinations at the school. In all the topics, the teacher are writing about how the work was and how the teacher looks upon the student as a teacher in the topic. And so that in English and in Danish and in math and in German you have your descriptions from the teacher as a teacher in Danish, as a teacher in English, and then the teacher group in common write an overstatement about the student, the one student, so that we make a lot of statements in the topics and about the person, and in practice, how did your practice school look upon you as a teacher, and so on. And this is how the paper with which you graduate. If you later want to be employed in the folk school, in the public school, then you can go to a special examination in 2 topics, and let you examinate in 2 topics from your own special topics in our education, Danish and German, for example, and then you can choose which topics you will be examined, and you can make this examination as a private person, and then you will have the stamp as a normal teacher. But you do not have to do this if you want to go into further education in the university. You are allowed to. You are educated on bachelor degree in our school, and you are allowed to make further education on master and candidate levels, and go directly from our school into master or candidate studies.
You mean master after university, after the first level of the university?
Yes,
You can go to the upper level.
After our education has finished. Our education is not university. In Denmark we say that the teacher education is lying in what we call university colleges, and they have education up until master degree. They have the bachelor degrees, the professional bachelor and the average bachelor, normal bachelor's degree, and not further. If you want to go into master or candidate, you will have to go to the university, not the university colleges. So we are on the level with the university college and a part of the legislation about university colleges in Denmark. They must choose 4 topics where they want to be teachers. But in connection to this, we have a lot of compulsory training, the pedagogical, and we have so what we call a kind of compulsory training for all our students. We want them to study about the idea, as we call it, about the language, about the history and folk of the people and the community, and about the balance to be in life at all, and to how to work together and so on. We want them to know something about conflict handling and building up a good environment for co-working, cooperative working, and so and we have storytelling and narrativity as a compulsory part of the education, where all our students knows a lot about stories, tales and sagas, and so, where to find it, and have learned about them. They know something about how to perform when you are a storyteller, and they know something about how to use the language to fulfill your storytelling or narrativity. And they know how to engage and enroll their students and pupils in starting telling themselves. And we find it's a strong tradition in the free schools in Denmark that we are having this morning assembly, for example, where there is storytelling, or we have lessons with storytelling. And I used to say that this is the last places in the world for young people today where they are offline. They are not asked to do anything, to mean anything. They are not asked whether they are feeling good or bad. They are just simply asked to sit down, say nothing, do nothing for 20 or 30 minutes and listen. And no one will ask them, what did you hear? Did you understand this? Did you find that? You just are completely set free to hear what you want to hear. You can listen or you can not listen, but you have just to be there and be there together with the others at the same time, in the same room, the same place. And I think this is the last offline place in the children's world. So we are very, we are very, we strongly take care of these spaces, the storytelling spaces.
There are differences between the kind of school that they would go to teach, the primary or the high schools.
Yes, we have in our teacher training we are focused on the primary school and for all we are working together with the lower secondary schools as boarding school. We have a special kind of schools in Denmark called efterskoler. It's translated, it would be called after school, but it's not the right word, and it's boarding schools for young people who take their ninth and they can take both the 9th and the 10th grade. We have compulsory education in Denmark up to 9th grade, but you are allowed to choose to have a 10th grade upon it before you start in the lowest secondary or in the upper secondary group and go into the gymnasium, as we call it, the upper secondary. So you can have either 9 years or 10 years of compulsory education. And these boarding schools for youngsters, they offer the 9th grade and or the 10th grade. So normally the young people go there for 1 year. It's very expensive for the parents. They pay a lot of money to have their young people there for 1 year, but about a third of all Danish young people are going into the after school because we as parents see it as very useful and very effectful.
But
and
this is a state school.
No, it's a free school, self-governing free school, as we call them. That means that we become subsidies from the state, and we must have some other incomes for all through participation paying. The people who participate in the school also pay, but we have some subsidies from the state, and we build it all together and can create our economy with this.
This is for this single year.
This is for the free schools in Denmark where the state must give subsidies, and these after school, these boarding school for youngsters, and the folk high schools too, and our academy too. We are also becoming money from the state, and our students are paying to be in our. Not much, just a little, to be in our education, because in Denmark education and further education is free. You're not paying anything until master or candidate level. It's free to take your own education in Denmark. So it's in the free schools you'll have about 70 or 80% subsidies from the state. But you have to pay the rest yourself to be allowed to have this freedom to do to do other things that what the state schools and the state education would do. School are built with rooms for the students where they live. Yeah, 2 or 3 students together, and they have the whole day together. And these schools have a strong experiences of intergenerational learning or being together. That the generations, the older generation of teachers and the young generations of students, they're living in the same environment. They are not parents and children, but they are students and teachers living in the same environment. And it brings for 1 year.
At the age of 14, more or less. At the age of 14.
At least 15.
15, 14.
Yeah, 14, 15, 16 years. In these ages, yeah. And I have all my 3 children. They have been in the after school after one another in 3 different after school, and they have been having a very good time. And we have been as parents, we have been very glad to send them there and to see how they develop when they come away from home and into another environment and are looked upon from other adults who don't know anything about them or everything about them as the parents know. And they really are flourishing and have some focus. And we can also see, when you looked upon it from top above, we can see that these youngsters to go into the after school, they're much better to find the ways into the further education system, and they become aware of where the interest is. And we can see that when they start in further education after the upper secondary school, when they start in the further education, they are full finishing their further education in a higher level than other young people. So this is maturing the children in a very, very good way to go into the after school.
When was introduced this kind of experience?
What?
How long? Since when does this exist?
Where?
This after school.
Yeah, where it exists.
Since when?
Since when?
Yeah.
120, 30 years, I think.
Always. Tell me.
Yeah, we have had it in Denmark in the last 120 years, 130 years.
It's not a new thing.
No, not a new thing. No. We also in Denmark have combined schools with primary schools and the after school in one institution, and they're working together in some. And these schools are very big and have a big space and a lot of possibilities. We have a few of them in Denmark too.
And question about your school. Are there foreign students?
Yes.
That enroll?
We have foreign students. Yes. Yeah. We have. We cannot offer education in English now, but we are working in ways that a lot of the students we have, foreign students we have, they have been in a folk high school in Denmark for half a year, and there they will adapt so much Danish language that they can actually act in our school, and they are learning very fast how to speak and how to learn in Danish. And all in Denmark, it's very common that the young people are very, very strong in speaking English or German, and so we always have the second language there. Most of our young people have it on a high level. So it's very easy to be a foreign student in Denmark, you can say. We have an Italian student at the time, Luca, and I think we have 10 or 15 young people from other countries.